for computer science. And so I'm sure that everything she has to offer you today is going to be awesome. And so I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to her and let her get started.
Okay, well, thank you. First of all, I'm going to have a PowerPoint that I'm going to show everybody, but I'm putting it in the chat. So that way, if you'll have access to it, but you'll see it on my screen as well. And so let me get my screen ready to pull up. And well, I think I will. As soon as I can get the right spot on. I think I've got it hidden behind something on here. Well, I thought I had it all together.
Do you want me to share it for you, Leigh Anne?
If you would, that would be great because mine is not playing nicely right now.
Sure.
Oh, there it is. I found it about the time that, but thank you. That's perfect. Okay. So the title of this is, Are You Ready to Teach Computer Science? And so I'm Leigh Anne Durham. I actually teach at Lakewood in Henry County. But as you know, this is sponsored by the Northwest Tennessee STEM Hub, and we are really glad to have you today. I'm certainly not an expert, but I have tried really hard to learn lots and lots and lots of things to get prepared for this. So, Dr. Adams, you want to click for me? We'll go to the next slide. Okay, so in case you did not know this, I think a lot of people are aware, but just in case you didn't know this, in May of 2022, the state of Tennessee passed a law saying that computer science would now be in our schools and it would be funded. Now, that's kind of a big question of how much funding we're going to get, but it does require that all high school students must receive 1 school year of computer science education. Just to clarify, that can be a semester. But they will have to have this for their requirements to be able to graduate. And then middle school students must also receive 1 course in computer science. And then this gets a lot of people and they don't realize it. Elementary students must receive grade appropriate computer science education by integrating it into their content standards. And so I know that's gotten a lot of teachers that what we would call regular classroom teachers, some are very concerned because they're like, you're adding one more thing to my plate. So I hope today will help you out a little bit and make it a little bit easier. There is a link that you'll see at the bottom of this slide, and that is the PDF copy of the book that was given to every school, at least every school that signed up for it. And it's the Computer Science Integration Guidebook. It has all of the standards, all of the information that you need to get started, to know what the expectation would be. It breaks it down, explains some different things, has some examples of some courses, some classes that you can teach, some lessons, and it explains what kits and things were given to each school. And it also has a great list of vocabulary. So if you want to look at that sometime, if you don't have a hard copy, that could be very beneficial to you. All right, Ms. Shauna, next slide, please. Okay, so some people are teaching computer science as a class. So for example, I'm doing that. I am teaching computer science to our middle schoolers. Some people are just teaching it, like if you're an elementary teacher and you're just having to incorporate that. So I was just kind of interested to see how many people were in each category. So I'm not saying you have to put anything in the chat, but you're welcome to, or if you would like, you can just unmute and tell us real quick if there's something that you want to share. I will try to have stuff for both sets. So Natalie says that she's teaching computer science as a separate class. I think Stephanie's on here. I think she's also doing that as well. I know I have some second grade teachers. Art integration. Okay, very good. So we've got several folks that are both ways, and that's great. And feel free to keep adding if you would like. We've got a school counselor, which is always wonderful to see our school counselors involved and knowing what's going on. Dr. Adams, will you back it up a slide or two? At least to the one that there's a big red circle. Yes. Okay. So most people I have just kind of found, oh, that's a little too far. Yes. Either love or hate computer science. That's just kind of, there's usually not a whole lot of medium. But computer science can be very frustrating for some students and some adults. I'll be honest, it's not that easy for me. And I know, you're probably thinking, well, you're telling me about computer science. It should be really easy for you. It's not. And it's really important to keep a positive attitude and focus on why we need computer science. And that will make all the difference. And we need computer science because we need to get our kids ready for the future. More and more jobs are based on computer science. And so we really need to focus on the successes and our feelings of accomplishment. I'll be honest with you, this week, my son, he lives in East Tennessee. He's in medical school there. And he made we were talking on the phone and he said, I really am kind of struggling with this one thing. And I said, what is it? And he said, well, we've got this program that we're supposed to use to help us with our studying. And he said, it takes a lot of coding to do it. He said, I never thought I would need coding in medical school, but I feel like I'm a little bit behind some of the other students because they know how to do this. And so it really got me to stop to think. I thought, somebody in medical school needs coding? Yes. It's really becoming more and more prevalent in every job. It really is. Okay, Dr. Adams, if you'll give me the next screen. All right, so our takeaways from today. I know sometimes we talk about takeaways at the end, but I wanted to make sure you knew kind of some things that are important to get started. So don't be afraid to admit that you are learning too. If you try to make the kids think that you're an expert and you're not, they will know it and they will not have any trust in you. There's nothing wrong with modeling curious behavior. I tell my kids sometimes, I'm not sure what the answer is, but we'll figure it out together. But your attitude makes such a difference. The next thing, this really gives opportunities for leadership, and that helps everybody. Sometimes you can take a student who is really excelling, let those kids help those that are struggling, or give some tips or some suggestions. Be prepared to see roles are reversed because, and I have witnessed this year. Sometimes what we think of as academically struggling students are amazing at coding. This can really give those students a chance to shine. I have an 8th grade group right now that's taking computer science, and my 3 top students, the ones that are the furthest along, that are doing the best, that are helping everybody else, they have IEPs. They're doing great. And so many people might not ever assume that they could do that. They are really shining. And it's been such a special thing for me. I love it because these are kids that have never had an opportunity to shine, and they're shining now. And the other thing, collaboration is really encouraged in coding. We all know that's one of the 4 C's, but collaboration is huge. And it's huge in coding if you're doing this as a job. So that's one thing that the students have really enjoyed. All right, Dr. Adams. So in computer science, especially the emphasis that Tennessee is placing on things, they really are focusing on computational thinking. So if do nothing else, if there's nothing else you can do, please, regardless of the subject you teach, try to incorporate these 4 words in your lessons. So algorithm, for example, it's just step-by-step instructions. If you're an art teacher, I know you give step-by-step instructions. If you're a counselor, if you're a regular, whatever, just try to use the word algorithm. You may have to say, now remember, that's just step-by-step instructions. So here's our algorithm for our lesson today. Pattern recognition. We think about that for, kindergarten, first grade, but we can do that across the board. Decomposition, all we're doing is breaking a problem into smaller, more manageable parts. We do that all the time. And then abstraction, where we focus on the important information and remove that unnecessary stuff. This is actually an image that the state has put out. They've made some posters and things. It's in that book I was telling you about earlier, the Computer Science Integration Guidebook. But this is the state's big poster that they are using. So I thought maybe if you saw that, that might kind of give you some ideas. All right, next one. This is just the exact same vocabulary that we talked about using, just some of them I added a little bit to it. All right, that's the next one, please. All right, this may or may not help you, but I have tried to link tons of videos that might help you. It's everything from some basics about computers. So one of the things I'm doing in my class, my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, we're watching some of these. They may not be but 2 or 3 minutes, but they're learning some of the basic things about a computer so that when they get to computer science in the 6th grade, it's not all brand new. They've got some background. And so this might help some of you just to have some short videos that really explain some things to the kids. Another thing we talk about, troubleshooting. When something's not working, how do we fix that? How do we find an answer? Well, there's a video up there. Cyberbullying, how we treat each other, mobile device safety. Those are very important things. And then just some basics about like algorithms and the difference in hardware and software and computer languages and just some basic information. So these are some really good videos that I have used in my classroom, and I find them to be very useful. All right, there we go. So if you are a K-3 teacher, I've tried to make some stuff for everybody because I really wasn't sure who all would be here. So if you're a kindergarten teacher, not that you can't use devices, but there are some really great, what we call unplugged lessons. So those are lessons that you don't have to have a device for. So I've tried to give you, there's a link there, and then code.org has a ton of these. And then I tried to give you some different ones to try. There's some home row typing. There's drag and drop. I know, at least in our school, our music teacher and our librarian are trying to help with keyboarding and things. So these might be some things that they could use to help with their younger students. So there are several things. Some of these just help them get used to using a mouse. Some of them, are games and different things, but they're all beneficial in some way. Okay, Dr. Adams. Okay, so for my 4th through 8th grade friends, here are several that, and I tried to put the links on some of them, and then I ran out of space. So there are several good games and different things that the kids seem to enjoy that you might want to try. And also, then on the right, I've listed some. You can just Google those and they'll come up. But I wanted to have some different resources for the different grade bands. And those might be anything from indoor recess or fun things to do on their own, extra credit, whatever you wanted to do. And then for high school, Khan Academy, if you've not used Khan Academy, it's free. There's a lot of great stuff that they have, but they have added some really great computer science things. Code Academy, which is on there. There's a free code camp. Even Harvard has a free game development course or a class that kids might enjoy. And then MIT also has some things, and Make Code. So I say that's for high school, but even if you had some middle schoolers that are really exceptional and they have, if they finish what you've got, your curriculum, you could always try some of these things. All right, Dr. Adams. If we're talking about curriculum, as far as, if you're really teaching computer science, kind of the two biggies in the state, Kira, which is Kira Learning, and then code.org. I'm not saying they're the only ones that you can use, but those are the two big ones that are free that the state of Tennessee has given their approval for. Both of them have really great qualities. It's really just kind of a matter of personal preference. So Kira Learning, their symbol is that purple octopus. And then code.org has the square with the word codes. I see that Natalie said that she's using Kira and she loves it. I'm using Kira as well with our middle school. And, like I said, kids either really love it or they really don't. But for the most part, it is so much better than anything I had tried before. One of the best parts, thank you, Stephanie, she's using Kira as well. One of the best parts is for as far as a teacher, if you're not super confident in what you're doing, they have answer keys to everything. That's one thing code.org didn't have, where you could just print it off. I like that. Kira helps me look smarter to my kids because I have printed everything off. I have all the answer keys. So when a kid absolutely is just bumfuzzled and they can't figure out what's wrong, I've got it right in front of me. They have wonderful PowerPoints. They've got great handouts and things. Natalie says that she's used the PowerPoints and found those very beneficial. So they've really got a lot of stuff that can help you out as a teacher, and it's done for you. I really like that. And then I've also added one on there called commonsense.org. It's not really what I would call a curriculum per se, but it's got some great stuff for K through high school. It's got some really good videos, some really good lessons that, and it's free for teachers, but it's got a lot of things that, for safety, for example, balancing media in your life, what you can and can't, should or should not share online. A lot of good safety features that I just felt like needed to be heard by these kids. They need to experience that information. So maybe those, what I use commonsense.org just to kind of supplement. I use the Kira, and then I also have a textbook that I've been using with the kids and the Common Sense links, those videos, and that has been a really good thing for my students. If anybody has used any of these three and you want to share, don't feel like you have to, but if you want to share, if you've used any of those, feel free to unmute or to drop it in the chat. All right, well, we'll just go on and you can always add to it later. So if you are interested, Stephanie put, she loved that students can go at their own pace with earbuds. Yes. I even keep extra headphones in my room so that the kids can just get what they need if they forget it, because they can work at their own pace, and it makes it very nice. There are some nice computer science educator trainings that are free. Now, some of these are really short. Some of these are a little longer. Code.org has some every now and then. They even pay nice stipends. But code.org is a great opportunity. Microsoft Make Code, Pathfinders Institute, and Ellipsis Education all have free computer trainings. If you think, I need some more, training in my life, these can probably give you some good options there. All right, Dr. Adams, our next slide. Dr. Adams, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, yes, perfect. And then
Sorry.
I did know you're fine. I did want to add this in case you are interested in getting your endorsement for computer science. Um, Now I'm not going to lie to you. This was hard. Maybe not hard for everybody, but I'm just going to be honest with you. Computer science was not something easy for me. You know, I'm not a young teacher. You know, I've already got 30 years experience here. So, as a matter of fact, there are teachers on this today that were my students in elementary school. So, you know, but that you can teach an old dog new tricks. And so, the state of Tennessee knows that computer science endorsements are important, and they have created a way that teachers at no cost can get their endorsement. So instead of having to take master's level classes, they do have this pathway. There are 6 self-paced modules. And Natalie said it was very hard. Yes, it was very hard. It was a lot of work. But the good news is it was free, which I appreciated. But it does help you meet all of your employment standards. Now, I don't know how long it'll be free, but for right now it is. If that is something that interests you, I will tell you there's a final exam at the end, and that stressed me out more than anything. But hey, if I can pass it the first time, anybody ought to be able to pass it. They give you 2 chances. But if you are interested, there is a, a link there where you can email to talk to them and get on the list to be able to do the endorsement. All right, Dr. Adams. So there are a lot of computer science and tech conferences. That might be a way that you might want to try to learn more. So, oops, I see a typo. Sorry about that. The CSTA is a great organization to join. The International Society for Technology and Education, ISTE. There's even a British Education Training in Technology. There's all kinds of these. Of course, I've also included TSIN. They have a computer science momentum expedition in December. It's at Geodis Park, and I've been the last several years, and it was excellent. I highly recommend that. I think it costs $20 for the registration fee. And then also in May, every year in May, TSIN has their STEM Innovation Summit. It's usually in downtown Nashville, and it has some excellent information and things there. So I would highly recommend to look for those because they might be exactly what you need. And there are a lot of Facebook pages that you can join. You know, computer science teachers or middle school or elementary or whatever. A lot of great you know, opportunities there to interact with other teachers. All right, so some fun robotics if you want to take it a little further. And I've got stuff here for different age groups. If you were part of the a school system that joined the Reach Them All when the state put all this out, they sent every elementary school B-bots, blue bots, and pro bots. They also sent for the middle schools Finch flocks from Bird Brain Technologies. If you ever get a chance, Sphero is a fabulous company, and they make some wonderful things. They sell what's called a Sphero Bolt, the Sphero Minis, the Sphero Indy, the Spectrums. They have some really cool things that I think anybody would enjoy. My kids love them. Now, they do take a device. I use iPads with mine, but they are wonderful things. And I even had kids last year that said, Miss Durham, will you give me permission to bring my cell phone? I can download that app on my phone, and then we'll have an extra device to use with these. And I let them. But they were so excited to get to do that. Now, that's the only thing they could do to have their phone out. But my middle schoolers couldn't wait to get to do this. Ozobots, Dash Robots, Code and Go Mouse is good for littles. Then you've got Vex Robotics. Vex 123 is for the younger kids, you know, your primary kids. Vex Go, I use that mostly with my 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. And then the Vex IQ I use with middle school. And they have really enjoyed this. You may have some other resources and things that you have used. If so, feel free to either unmute or put it in the chat if there's some other things you would suggest. But the kids really, my kids have really enjoyed using all these different things. And it kind of just takes it to a whole new level. Then there's some other hardware devices or hardware ideas that you might want to try. Now, these are listed here. Everything from Makey, Circuit Playground, Raspberry Pi, Arduino, a lot of different things here. Some of these I own, some of these I've just heard other teachers say were really great things. But Makey, we have used those in our class. I've even had other teachers borrow them. And we've done a lot of neat things. We even did them with parent-teacher conference and had students use those. And we set up some really neat examples for parents, and the kids explained how it worked. And those are really, really great opportunities for our students to take their learning and put it into action. All right, next slide. All right, so these are two of my favorite books. Some of the information that you heard today came from these. The one on the left, Everything You Need to Ace Computer Science and Coding in One Big Fat Notebook. That is the textbook that I chose to use. As a matter of fact, we ordered it for our whole district. And it is written in a fun way. It's got a lot of neat color. It's got things highlighted. It's kind of a little quirky. It's got fun pictures. It's got some ways they can check their understanding. Their important vocabulary is highlighted. Sometimes it's got colorful boxes. It's got cute little cartoons written in it. But my students really like the way it is, the way it's presented, because it's a little more fun than just your typical boring textbook. And then, so that one is more for students, although I've learned a lot from it, I'll be honest. The second book is called Let's All Teach Computer Science. And that is an excellent book for teachers. It really gives you a lot of good information. It's really, it shows some different things, even for like music teachers and PE teachers. And it gives a lot of ideas and help me kind of break it down. Stephanie says that she likes this, and her kids don't even consider it a textbook because it is kind of a fun, the one on the left there, Everything You Need to Ace Computer Science and Coding. So it's the best one I found. Now, if you have found a better book, by all means, please share and let us know, because I'm always interested in making things better. The other nice thing is they were only about $10 a piece on Amazon. Usually when we think of textbooks, they're, $60, $70, $80 each. This was $10 was very reasonable. And I just have a class set. But I highly recommend both of these books. They have both been very helpful to me. All right. The next one is just kind of a wrap up. So this is where if you have any questions, I want you to feel free to share with me anything that you're thinking. If you've got any questions or ideas, if you've done anything that's worked for you, we would love for you to share, because I firmly believe that is how teachers, we learn from each other. One of the things Natalie has asked, how often do you see your students? I don't have a standard answer for that, and I'll tell you why. Of course, the state said that all these kids need to have computer science this year. Well, I see my 6th graders 1 day a week. I'm going to be honest, it's not a great plan, because, I can't remember some of the stuff I did yesterday. I sure can't remember a week ago. The kids really can't. And it's really hard, like if I have them every Monday, but we're out on Monday for parent-teacher conference or whatever, then it's been 2 weeks since they've looked at this. I really don't recommend doing it that way. Our 7th and 8th grade, I have been doing it with 7th and 8th grade, even though technically we're doing it 6th grade, but our 7th and 8th graders have not had any coding. I find we're doing better with them. The way our schedule works, we have them for every day for an hour for 4.5 weeks, which does seem like a lot. It's really not that much to try to cover a whole computer science course. But I have found it is so much better because the kids come in, they can remember where they left off yesterday. They can pick right up and just roll with it. And they have accomplished more in 2 weeks than I ever dreamed possible. So if you are able to have a lot of input on your schedule, I would highly suggest trying to have it more often. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things I'm going to ask my fellow teachers in my system how it's working for them. But I just have found that my kids that I see every day, we are flying through it. Natalie says she only sees hers once a week and she's struggling to have time to do other things. And so, yes, once a week is really tough. My goal, at least with my 6th grade that I see once a week, is I was hoping we could have it done by Christmas and then start STEM the 2nd semester. I don't know that we will, because we're not making as fast a progress as I really had hoped we would. Does anybody else have any comments on that? Natalie, I know you said you were doing Kira. Do you use a textbook, or do you use any other supplemental things, or do you just use Kira? Just Kira. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to get it all in. That's why with my 7th and 8th graders, I really do like having them every day for 4.5 weeks. And the only problem is if you have a kid that gets sick, and we've had this happen. I had a kid that was sick in the hospital with pneumonia, missed 5 days of, when you're only going to have them for 4.5 weeks, that's only about 22 class periods, maybe 23, and you missed a fourth of it. That's tough. We're having a hard time catching up. But we're just going to do the best we can. I mean, that's all you can do in anything. But at least they're getting some computer science this year because, before they would go to high school and they didn't have any. So we're hoping this will at least, get what you can get and make a good start. But we'll just kind of have to, this year is a learning curve for most of us, because most schools weren't teaching computer science as a course before this school year. A few were, but for the most part, most people weren't. So we're all learning, and we're going to, kind of have to figure out what was the most important and what we can kind of let go to the side and just make it work. And that's one reason it's so nice to have a group of people that you can contact and that you can communicate with. And that kind of brings me to what you see on our screen. If you have any questions that you think of later, by all means, shoot me an email. We will want you to take a survey, if you don't mind. Those of you that have done this before know that that's how we stay accountable for our funding. And we are the Northwest Tennessee STEM Hub. That gets very confusing because sometimes people just put West Tennessee and we're that Northwest Tennessee. If you've not joined us before, then I would like to share with you that we actually give a stipend for coming to our meetings. The only thing is, if you have not filled out a W-9 before with the STEM Hub, you will need to do that to be able to get your check sent to you. We ask that you do that within 2 weeks because we have to send them all in at once. And so, most people don't like waiting for their checks to get cut. And so we ask that everybody get it within 2 weeks so that we can get those cut in a timely manner. You will receive a certificate that you can use for your in-service hours or whatever you need. Professionalism, you can always put that on your professionalism. So you will get a certificate from that. We have a Facebook page, the Northwest Tennessee STEM Hub. I hope you will all like us on that. That is a great opportunity for people to communicate, ask questions, share ideas, whatever it might be. we learn from each other, and that's so important. And we also have a YouTube channel where we try to put all of our sessions on there. So that way you can go back and look and listen again, or if there's something you missed you want to see. But we have found that a lot of people are very happy to have that. So those are some real important things. Miss Shauna may want to put those in the chat so you can just click the link to make it very easy. But thank you for all the comments. Brandy, appreciate you joining us today. And Christy, hope you got some ideas and some information. And Carrie, thank you for sharing. And Stephanie, always can count on you to share lots of good stuff with us. Thank you. But we do have a lot, to help each other with. So Shauna, would you be able to put the W-9, could you put that link in the chat for them and the survey when you're ready?
Sure, absolutely. I'm working on that right now.
Okay.
I do want to say that if you are looking for the Northwest Tennessee STEM Hub on Facebook, you have to put NWTN. If you write out the word Northwest, it's going to pull up where UT Martin used to run the STEM Hub, and that is kind of a dead link. It's not going to go anywhere. Originally, when the STEM Hub first came out, it was ran through UTM, and then they were no longer able to secure the grant and run the grant. So we picked it up, I think, in 2016 or 2017. So there is an old link out there that's never been disabled. So let me pull up what Miss Leigh Anne gave me, and I will put that in the chat for y'all. Of course, my computer's not being nice.
I think I can get it if you want me to, Shauna.
That would be great.
Okay.
I don't
We
know.
tag team this. How about that?
You know what? Teamwork makes the dream work.
It does. All right. So there's the W-9 link that everybody will need to do. And one other thing, like I said earlier, we have a survey that we really need everybody to fill out. And it does hold us accountable because, we tell people that we're doing this, and we tell TSIN that we're doing this. And so this gives proof of what we're doing, that everybody, and it also gives you an opportunity to tell us, what you like and what you don't like, what we can do to help you in the future. We really want to be a great resource for you. And so if there's something that you need, or if you think of, man, I wish we could have one on whatever, by all means, let us know, because we really want to help you. That's what we're here for. And we are happy to have ideas and suggestions and all those kind of things. So, and so somebody asked about the PowerPoint from today. It was the very first thing in the chat, but I can still copy it and put it down here.
I can send it out. I can send out a follow-up email to everyone with the presentation that Miss Leigh Anne did today, as well as the survey link and any other information that you may need. Also, those of you who have been with us before, we have changed the way that we do certificates. So if you were in our meeting last Monday for the Defined Learning What is Defined, you should already have received your certificate via email. If you haven't, just shoot me an email and we'll get that sent out. Everyone will get 1 hour of professional development credit today, and your certificate will probably be emailed no later than tomorrow. And then, of course, I just see a few names that are new here. So if you're interested in getting that stipend, just make sure you fill out the W-9. And you can, if you email that to either myself or Leigh Anne, or in the follow-up email, I will give you the name of our secretary who takes care of all the paperwork for us, and she can get that information sent to the business office so that we can get those payments submitted and cleared for you to be able to get, which I know that you want. Any other questions or comments from today?
Dr. Adams, just a quick reminder on the W-9, all you have to do is put your name, your address, your social security number, check that you're an individual, and sign and date it. I know when the W-9, there's multiple pages, you just need that very first page. And it literally takes less than 2 minutes, and that's if you've got to look up your social security number. But we do need those back as soon as we can because we want to get the checks cut and sent out to you as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. Well, if no one has any further information that they would like to share or any questions, then I would just like to say on behalf of the STEM Hub and Leigh Anne and myself, we're so thankful that you guys could join us today. We know that you work hard and we appreciate your dedication to learning more about how you can impact your students in the classroom. So we will have another meeting next Monday. Is that the 30th? I think that's the 30th.
Yes, it is.
And I will be giving a presentation on biology resources, life science resources for all grades for STEM integration and teaching as well. So I hope you can join us for that one. All right. So thank you all so much for coming. Miss Leanne, do you have anything else to add? You're muted.
Sorry. Just later, if you think of something that you need or any way we can help you, just shoot us an email and we will be glad. I'm going to put my email in the chat. And that way you'll have it just in case you need it. And if there's anything we can ever do to help you, just let us know.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great afternoon.